America, this is Mark A back in effect. Mark A stay in effect. Mark A will always be in effect.
Life is a bus, so the service a must. They make you turn up your phone before you get off the bus and make you wanna go home, dog. There's nowhere to run, so you must sleep through day 0 to get to day 1. And 9 weeks later,
what's up, America? This is Mark A back in effect, stay in effect, and always will be in effect. And I said we're gonna keep it going, right? We're gonna keep it going, all right? Hey, check this out. We're gonna start the show like this, all right? The first thing we're gonna do is introduce our guest, which is Major Retired Summer Brown. Major Retired Summer Brown, okay, 23 years United States Army, okay, and is retired today, all right? And we're going to talk about her story. But the first thing we're going to do is what? We're going to dedicate, well, not dedicate, we're going to open the bottle, which is pretty much done, of XO, okay? Today's alcohol liquor is XO, okay, XO. I say defuse, all right, defuse, okay? So we're gonna pop this open because you know Mark A gotta get a little sip in, all right? And Summer, thank you for being our conversationist today on the Apex 07 podcast, military podcast show.
So welcome.
You know what I mean? Well, before we start, we're gonna go ahead and make a toast. Make a toast.
Wine.
Because this is fellowship. Kumbaya.
Sponsored by Modelo.
Modelo.
Not really.
Del Fuse. Okay. And what you drinking there? Wine? What kind of wine?
This is wine. It's called Oliver. It's it's from the winery and vineyards. It's cherry Moscato.
Okay, cherry Moscato. All right. Make a toast. All right, let's get it going. So Summer, we got our co-host D Brooklyn from Beyond the Reverb, my partner, my H Coon Boom, you know me, my left hand. My wife is my right, D Brooks my left. You know, your left hand don't know what your right hand do, and vice versa, right? There it is. Just joking. That's the wrong way to start the show, but that's all right though. All right, because I'm real. All right. So Summer, where it all began? Talk to me. Tell me
oh my goodness, where did it all begin? You can make me go back. And it's 23 years and 5 months. Give me my 5 months. All right.
Get that 5 months. You goddamn right.
When did it all start? I actually enlisted in 1996, December. So that was a little bit longer, but that was, you know, the little delayed entry program they had going on at the time. And then I left for basic and AIT in January of 1997. So that's where it all started. I mean, everything literally started there. You go. I had the Army before I had a family, before for the kids and everything. So it was me in the Army.
You in the Army. And what did you enlist in as?
Oh God, let's see. Believe it or not, I came in as a 92 Golf initially.
Okay.
I was a 92 Golf for about, I don't know, couple months. And I was pulled out. They were like, before I got an orderly room. So I went to the orderly room and then I became a personnelist. And I did that until I made the rank of E6. I'll say E6. And then after that, I commissioned over. I was direct commission out of, and people say they never heard of this program before, but there are.
It's there.
I was just about to ask you what. Yeah, I was about to ask you that. Like,
so direct commission is basically take off one rank and put on another. Like I didn't do too much competing for my rank, right, to be commissioned. I had the qualifications, I had my degree, I was sharp. There was a bunch of officers that believed in me and wrote letters and stuff like that. And I was actually stationed in Fort Bragg at the time. Okay. I'm not airborne. I didn't do none of that whole stuff that they do in Fort Bragg, and I was still selected.
That's what's up.
To be commissioned. So I was direct select, and a couple months after I made E6, and then I left for OBC. And
so when you change your MOS, when you change your branch, I call it branch because enlisted and officer and warrant officer branch, 3 different type of branches, right? Enlisted, that's private on to E9, which is a sergeant major. officer is lieutenant to general, and then warrant officer is chief warrant officer 1 through chief, which is CW5, right?
Yeah, I believe
Yeah,
it's, yeah. I think that's
yeah,
they go up
It's
to 5.
warrant
Yeah.
officer. WOC 1 is just
Walk one, yeah.
WO1, and then chief warrant officer starts at 2 to 5.
CW.
2 to
Yeah.
5. There you go. CW 2 to 5, right? So did you have the same MOS when you was from the staff sergeant, which is E6 to OE1, or which is
No,
a
so
lieutenant?
when I after my commissioning, I was a 42 Alpha. And then it was actually 75 something prior to that. I've been here a long time.
Yeah.
But I became a 42 Alpha, and then after 42 Alpha, I became a 70 Bravo. 70 Bravo is like a healthcare specialist, right? So 70 series can be thrown in several different categories.
Yes.
I became a FOTEL. I'm a FOTEL, 70 Fox and 70 Hotel. So that's medical operations as well as like HR type stuff. So
Okay.
yes, my MOS and my one of my AOCs, they are similar.
Okay.
So
Now, how was that transition from being a staff sergeant, like in charge of soldiers, to being a lieutenant?
it was great.
So tell me, explain that. I want to hear that.
Okay, so first of all, it was not just a change of MOS; it was a change of branch. Period. So we call it RA, regular Army, right? The fighting force, right, which is where your 42 alphas are housed, so to speak. And this is summer verbiage. This is how I see it. I mean, but so that's there, and then you have AMED, Army Medicine.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of similarities, like a 42 Bravo is the officer, 42 Alpha, the personnel officer. And then the 70 Foxtrot is similar, except we have hospital experience, and we do things on the healthcare side that your regular 42 Bravos wouldn't, they would never deal with. Most of the time, and over the time things have changed, but in force comm units, you didn't find a bunch of civilians, right? Well, in hospitals, you find a whole lot of them, it's over half of the staff, right? Yeah. So that was one difference, but we still had to deal with military actions and stuff like that, military awards, all that stuff. Same thing as a 42 Bravo. So that's the only difference. Now it's getting real cloudy. It's getting cloudy. Now 42 Bravos won our job, so we have to kind of protect the Foxtrot Corps. But I love being a Foxtrot. It was amazing.
Now, I'll be honest with you, like when I became a recruiter, I didn't even know there was a AMED program. Like you can get direct commission through the medical portion. Like you could come off the street with a RN, registered nursing, or LPN, and you don't even have. I don't know if you can't go to basic training. I don't think you go to basic training. You just go straight to the job,
OBC.
right?
No,
OBC.
you go to OBC.
OBC, and then you start doing your job as a officer in the medical field. I didn't know that.
Back then, they come in lieutenant colonels.
What? I didn't see. That's something new to me.
The highest rank I've ever seen coming in, I've heard of people in the medical field as far as dental units coming in and major. That is very, very common because they already, especially in the reserve component, because they already have their private practice or they work for another private practice, and they've been doing it for years.
Yes.
Yep. And then they can come in older too, like 40, 42 years old. They can come in.
Yes. I've seen a dentist in Iraq that I was like, he's in uniform. I'm like, this dude's like over 60. But specialty MOSs, they waive the age thing, especially when you got something going on, like the beginning of Iraq when I went in 03. So it's a little bit different, especially in the medical field. I'm in a hospital center now. Well, by the time this video comes out, I will no longer be in that unit. But
but what I was saying is like this is a perfect situation. Like not many people like that's in the military community, especially the Army, know about these programs, right? Like I found out about it when I was 8, 9 years in because I was a recruiter. And then I was like, okay, what's that? Like, I didn't know what the hell that, like direct commission. We have an AMED recruiter. I'm like, Okay, what's their mission? You know what I mean?
You know
So,
what? I made it my business to tell people about this
yeah,
program. I made it
you
my
actually,
business to make officers like
actually,
myself.
actually, you told me. I think you're the one that told me about it because I was like, yo, we have an AMED recruiter, and I think you're the one that told me about that. Which is
And
interesting.
I love this because that's one thing I promised, my father, he talked to me before I became an officer and, told me all the things, treat people with respect, no matter what's on your rank. You never know who you see going up. You may see them, afterwards, which is right. That happened, you guys. I'll tell you about that later. But so you just treat everybody with dignity and respect, and I do that. And I made a promise to myself that I would always do that. People are people. These people don't belong to you. Just because they're in your command, that does not mean they belong to you. And just because you have the power doesn't mean you have to use it. Right?
You're absolutely right. Yep.
Solve issues.
Absolutely.
You can solve issues locally and kind of help save careers, right? You got good people getting kicked out of the military because you want a freaking top block or something for your UCMJs or whatever. So I just made it a practice to just be a good person overall and forgive, let people correct themselves, that type of stuff. So that's what I did.
Leaving a legacy.
That's what I did.
I do have a question for you. As far as transitioning from the enlisted ranks to the officer ranks, did you have any? Because you were in E6, did you have any trouble transitioning? And not transitioning because I don't want to have too many redundancies in my speech. But did you have any problems staying out of NCO business because you were an NCO for a long period of time? I've seen people struggle from people going green to gold, or even going to warrant officer, becoming pilots. I've seen them. They don't know how to stay out of NCO business. It's like, no, and I'm not saying that to be disrespectful or derogatory. It's just officers have their stuff, and we don't get into their business. But when you transition, it's different.
I've seen them. And no, you know why I didn't have an issue? Because I had great NCOs over me prior to going. That's why. My NCO, I see in the S1 at the time, I called him often after I became an officer. He taught me very well before I became an officer. He said, when you get to your first duty station, you find your first sergeant. You find the first sergeant and you learn from him. And so I did. I had zero issue with, becoming an officer or transitioning or knowing my role. I knew when I needed to sit back, and I was just truly honored with some amazing senior NCOs after the battle. But I got some great NCOs that I still talk to this day that kind of helped me stay grounded and help me stay in my place.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, this is the thing though, because when I met you, I met Summer back in 2009, when I was a recruit in Alaska, and I met her. I just remembered we was having this conversation earlier.
It was before that.
It was 2009 because I went on recruit in 2008.
So 2008, I met you when you first got there.
Oh wow! Damn.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I left in 09.
That's right. Now check this out though. She was a commander, a company commander. Okay. Company commander that was pregnant.
As a lieutenant.
Yep, as a lieutenant.
Wow. I've seen it before.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Yeah, it was in our clinic. That was rough, you guys, because number one, there were captains there that could have done the job.
Yeah,
there were plenty of captains that could have did the job, but our hospital commander came down and he said, "No, I want you." And I knew I was going to catch some heat for that because I'm a lieutenant. There's captains that need this command.
Yep.
And then on top of that, I ended up getting pregnant. I was married at the time, and me and my ex-husband, we had our caboose. He's 13 now, but I really caught a lot of heat rounds for that. But it made me stronger. Made me stronger.
Yep. And it's so funny because I was like, yo, she was a company commander, pregnant. You know what I mean? Only one other time in my career I saw that, and it was lieutenant. She was a platoon leader, pregnant, right? She was like 8 months pregnant, and in 13 Bravo, we're in the field. you know, and she went out in the field, and I'm like looking at her like, "Man, what are you doing out here? Like, you're pregnant." She's like, "What that
I'm
mean?"
still running.
She's
Shoot.
like, "What that mean?" She said, "What that mean?" I'm like, "Okay, all right." You know what I mean? That gave me like, yo, this shit, this woman, this woman here is down and 100% real. I'll go to war with her any day of life. So the soldiers drew a picture of her in her platoon, right? Dead serious. Drew a picture of her holding a baby and firing around. Dead serious. But they respected the hell out of her though. Like dead serious. They
Women
respect
rock,
her.
man.
That is too funny. That is too funny.
I think she's married. She's a major now. I think she's a major.
Mhm.
Amazing. And that's the thing that, you know, you see amazing things like that, and you're like, man. But apparently, she went to the brigade commanders, knocked on the door because they pulled out the field, right? That she can't go. She's like, "What you mean I can't go? I'm pregnant. That doesn't necessarily mean I can't. I can take boot. I can still lead, right?"
Mhm.
And she went out there and she did her thing. And the
Yeah.
brigade commander was like, "Well, you can't go. You're pregnant." She's like, "Well, okay, so I'm going to IG then." She's like, hold on. He's like, hold on.
I'm
You know what I mean?
pregnant,
Like,
not dead.
exactly. Yeah. And I was like, dude, like, you know, I'm sitting there like, dang, you know, but yo,
Yeah,
amazing.
it was.
Amazing.
She didn't understand it's a risk. It's a risk issue. Which I mean, I get it. I understand it's a risk issue. You don't want anything to happen to her.
Yeah.
And then something happens to the baby. But a lot of times we don't think that way. We know we got a job to do, and we still got to do it. You know. So
Now, if it's deployment, that's a different story.
Now what?
If it's a deployment, that's a different story.
Yeah, I would say that.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Only because I mean I've been deployed. I know what it's like out there, and I wouldn't want to know. I don't even want to be out there not pregnant. So.
So summertime, and you okay? So then you became an officer, okay, and a commander, a company commander as a lieutenant in a medical unit, and then after that, what drove you? What's the thing what was the thing that drove you to be, you know, to go ahead and complete your time and do actually 3 years extra, and then 3 years and 5 months extra, okay?
Oh yeah.
42 months extra, and what drove you? What was the thing that drove you?
Well, like I said, I had the Army before I had anything, you know, so that was who I was, you know. And I loved the Army. I loved being a soldier. I loved being around people like me, being in that diverse environment. It was just, and what drove me is to continue. I mean, I got to continue to do great things like my assignments. I had a non-traditional career, you guys. I was favored in every way, shape possible. If there was a program that I applied for, I got it. There's somewhere I wanted to go, I went there. So, and it reminds me of this. And if anybody's out here watching, you guys be mindful how you treat people and make your network work for you. You know what I mean? There's nothing that I mean, I took one hard job. Not one, I took a lot of hard jobs, but the place I did not want to go was Korea, which ended up being the best assignment ever. Right.
Really?
And I was ready to get out. I was upset. I was like, I don't want to go to Korea. I have to go away from my family and all this other stuff. But I met a woman down there by the name of Jeanette Ruth. And, you know, there's more to this backstory, but Jeanette Ruth was a Puerto Rican lady. And she, when I first got there on ground, the brigade sergeant major came up to me and he was like, "Oh, great. Finally, somebody that, you know, when they speak English, we can understand."
Oh no.
And I didn't like that at all. Okay. First of all, I'm a girly feminist, and she was a female leader and minority female leader at that. And so something in me just said, you know what? I'm supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be here to make her shine. I'm supposed to be here to make sure that they don't continue to do this to her. Right. And so I kind of took it personal, and I just started killing it. I just started killing it. Everything was perfect. And I wouldn't go to sleep until it did. Nothing of hers was ever late. Nothing of hers was ever screwed up, because I made it my personal mission to make sure that she was good. right?
That's what's up.
And her and I ended up being great friends. I love her so very much to this day. She is now in 06. She got her bird.
Okay. That's what's
and she's
up.
in the DC area killing it, and she continued to kill it.
I know.
Jeanette Ruth got a so, on the peninsula, y'all know when you on the pen, right? And, a job comes open, like a high-speed job comes open. Jeanette, she competed for that job. She was the only female, and she was the only minority. She got the job, y'all. She got the job because she good, and she killed it. She killed that job. So I was so very proud of her. And then to this day, like, we're still very close. Everything that she did, we were the same AOC. Everything that she did, I just followed in her footsteps, because what better road to travel than the one that's already been traveled? And I have somebody to take me along the way, right? And so that's why I say I've been favored. She went to, she became like the consultant and all this other stuff. So whatever she did, I did. And she just kind of was like, and if I would have stayed in the military, I'd probably been putting E6 on, 06 on as well.
Absolutely.
I would have been pinning, you know what I mean? But God said something different, so I had to go with that.
And we're gonna get to that. Yep.
So people like Jeanette, Leslie Lorefield, taught me about top blocks and stuff like that, and why it was important to just do well. Those women made me want to be great. So that's why I stayed. And I gave that to whoever was behind me, and I pulled them with me. That was, I have motivated and commissioned 38 officers. 38, telling them about my program, telling the program that I came in on, telling them they can do it, encouraging them, AECP, all kinds of stuff. 38. So I'm very proud of that. So I stayed for them and my mentors.
And the thing about it, though, the thing about summer, right? Summertime, and I it's amazing, like the energy. D Brooklyn, you talk about my energy, like, dude. I'm gonna tell you straight up, right? Yo, energy, bro. Like, and it's positive energy all the time. You know what I mean? And it's just amazing. I mean, plenty of times when I was a recruiter, man, I was like, I'm done with this nonsense, right? And that's serious. That's serious.
No,
like,
I feel you.
Yeah, she kind of guided me through that, right? We were talking about earlier today about walking organizations, right? We were talking about LeBron James is a walking organization. And I said to you, do you think that people in the military are walking organizations, right? When we talk about that?
Yep.
It's people in the military are walking organizations because they have a small group of people that are pushing them, right? Pushing them to get to the top. And that's one thing I love about the Army. Now, don't get it twisted. There's also people that are trying to prevent you. But that's
but what is that? What is that?
But that's a challenge. That's a challenge.
No. They didn't believe in us.
It's a
God
challenge.
did.
Yep.
Sorry.
It's a challenge.
Had to do it.
Hey, that's where promotions come from.
But it's a challenge. It's a challenge. Oh, you think I can't do this? I'm gonna do it anyway. You see what I'm saying? That's the challenge. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Perception. Oh, because I talk because I'm a New Yorker. You think I'm a fast talker? Now I'm about to show you what I know. You see what I'm, like things like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Things like that. I remember one time, summer. Quick story. Man, it's so much flipping history between us. It's like it's ridiculous. That's why I'm like, yo.
Yeah.
I went to summer and I was a top new recruiter in Alaska. Okay, and I told I was talking to my first sergeant. My first sergeant said, "Oh, you a staff sergeant, right? Yo, you E7 now, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." He said, "Oh, you want to get promoted?" I'm like, "Yeah." He said, "Okay, I need you to put in a platoon." So I said, "Platoon?" He said, "How many people is in your platoon in the field artillery platoon battalion?" Platoon. I said, "About 42." He said, "I need you to put 42 people in the Army." I was like, "Okay." I called Summer and she said, what? She said, "Mark, like, Reed, that's too easy for you." I'm like, "Too easy? Do I want to do the work?"
And how long?
You know what I mean?
How long?
In a year.
Time frame?
In a year.
Okay. That's doable.
You think so?
Yes and no. Well, you was it. Hold on. TV timeout. Flag on the play. Mind you, you're in Alaska.
Yeah. But
Just
check
saying.
this out, though. The average person in a recruiter is 1.3.
Yeah.
That's the actual average of a recruiting, quota, 1.3 a month, right? So they rounded up to 2, right?
Yep.
2 people in 12 months is not 42 people.
Even 42,
It's
right?
24.
It's 24.
It's just a little over half. Just a little over half.
So I ended up thank God, I ended up, well, you know, with God's help and like just conversations with Summer, right?
Mm-hmm.
It gave me the inkling, like, yo, I'm gonna do this shit. You know what I mean? Like, yo, I'm gonna show these people. And I ended up doing it, right? I missed the flipping top recruit of the year because my battle, Master Sergeant Bolton, and that's another story, Master Sergeant Bolton, Juanisha Bolton, she got top recruit of the year. And she's pinned on Master Sergeant, went through a lot of trials and tribulations and kept to it and stuck with it. And she now is a Master Sergeant. And I'm like, so these type of stories, but it had to be somebody in there or people that in there that will support you to get where you need to be.
Yes.
So that's why I say you are a walking organization. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Point blank.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it, y'all. Let me tell y'all.
You know what I mean?
It's been a journey.
And that's what it is. It is. And the journey's not over. You know what I mean? The journey's not over. And the thing is, with Summer now, when you transition, okay, when you became a major and, you know, you said, you know what, it's calling it, right? How was your transition from coming out the army, the military, okay, and say first year? Like, how was your transition? Like, what was your thought process?
So I came out during COVID. So y'all can only imagine what a thought process is with that. Not only did my op tempo in life completely stop, but now I was confined to this house with all these kids, right? That I didn't really know. I have amazing kids, by the way, but I was, you know, kind of trapped like the rest of the world, right? So it was definitely a different season in life that I was experiencing. I really thought that, you know, by going ahead and getting out that I was doing, that I was making some forward progression for my personal life. But, you know, sometimes I think about that and maybe if I would have made a different decision. But I didn't. Nevertheless, you know, I got out during COVID and it was rough. It was rough. Have you guys ever seen a cartoon character, Bugs Bunny, when he's running and he hits a wall and then he slides down the wall?
Yeah.
That's what life. That's what
Yeah.
it felt like. Yeah, the coyote. That's what life felt
I like
like.
like the Roadrunner and the coyote. Yeah,
just boom and just slide. That's what life felt like. That's what it felt like. What happened to me, and I did not know. You know, I heard about the whole transition, and you're gonna go through this, you're gonna go through that, and I was like, nah, me, I'm all right, I'm ready, right? No, I hit that wall, y'all, and I slipped into some depression. You know, I slipped into some depression. I had thoughts that Summer wouldn't normally have. You know, I felt that I made a mistake in doing that, and I felt that maybe I had more in me, and I didn't, and I cheated myself somehow. You know, because I was great. You know, a great leader, and I had compassion. People loved me. You know, people, they wanted to pull me along with them. I was headed to Fort Carson to take a hospital center downrange. But so like my own battalion, right? And, you know, and I passed up that opportunity and I look at it like, man, why did I do that? You know, I did not think that through. Right. But God has something else for me, you know? And I had to learn from that transition to kind of just embrace it. Just embrace the change. It's okay. It's change, not death. Right.
Yes.
So I just had to learn to embrace it and move forward.
Yeah. Now I feel you. I do want to say this one thing. I'm a writer, right? I write poetry. I ghostwrite for a couple people. I write for myself. I'm not going to go into that. But I was writing something today, and I had a line where I don't have nothing memorized. So you know what? It was something about you're not going to make change until you maybe I do have to read it. Maybe I do have to read it.
Please read it. I love spoken word. I write myself. So
okay. So we ain't never gonna make change till we change it from the top. And I ain't talking about top from like change it from the top, like the leadership in whatever level you want to talk about, whether it's a unit or anything. No, from the top. Change your mindset.
The mindset, yeah.
And that you have to do that when you transition out of anything or into anything. You have to. And I've been off of active duty since 2006. I'm still not used to this. I mean, yes, I have a, so to speak, as my brother would call it, a crutch through the reserves to lean on. But you know what? Maybe he's right. Maybe he's right. Because he's never been in the military. I've been in 25 years already.
Wow.
So, well, altogether. Maybe it is a crutch because I'm not ready to let it go yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So God has a plan for all of us when we're ready to receive it. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah. You know, and that's the thing. And the thing is, you know, I really wanted to. I'm glad you elaborate on that because that's something that's very, very important. Because we were talking about earlier. Summer, all of us, we're saying 22 people commit suicide daily, but obviously the numbers skirt down a little bit. And we said one is too much, right? One is too much, right? So what? Summer, in your opinion or like in your feelings, what do you think it'd be the best thing for a person to do once they're transitioning out? You know what I mean? Like once they're transitioning out from the army, 20 years or more, like what you said, you said the word embrace, but what is it like in your own internal words? What does that mean by embrace?
Embrace, accept the change, repurpose yourself, find another purpose. Because you both know we soldiers, life is fast in our world, you know? And I know I use words like I'm still there because I'll always be there, right? But you have to repurpose your life. And that's something that I really struggled with because I was trying to use external forces to do that for me initially. And it takes me. It takes me. It's me that has to change. Me that has to see things differently. Me that has to repurpose my life. Me that keeps me busy. So I chose to get busy, right? That's why I'm doing all these things, right? Get busy and try not to let the things that I cannot change affect me, right? I'm still a work in progress, just as we all will be, right? It takes time. It says it takes us 5 to 8 years to fully transition, right? That's real. That's real. I'm in year 2, right? I'm in year 2.
So I'm a baby. I just came out of the fetus. I'm 6 months.
It's rough. It's rough. Yeah. And I'm not saying I still don't have those days when I look at my homegirls and they pinning lieutenant colonel, we promoted together, I feel some kind of way. You know, I feel bad, right? Like, God, some of that could have been you. But I have to think back. There's a different purpose for your life. And I did what I was supposed to do when I was there. You know, so I would say repurpose your life, get your op tempo back up. If you live that high stress life, that high, I got to be doing something all the time, my calendar got to be booked, then make it for yourself. Make it for yourself. Find your company, your platoon, your brigade, wherever you were, find that in the world. Because there's a lot of us out here struggling with the same stuff. You know, I have a whole lot of veteran girlfriends now. Several of them running for office with me. And we just had to figure out what we needed to do next, where we're supposed to go next, our purpose, you know? And so that's what I would say. You have to really focus on finding that and try not to move off feelings because feelings get you in trouble.
Yeah. Emotions.
Move off
Emotions.
facts, not feelings. If you see
Yes.
things in life, believe that it's happening, and
Yes.
stop moving off of feelings. You know,
Well, add a
your
little common sense to it.
a little common sense.
Yeah.
And then, you know, we have that internal thing, that intuition type thing. Trust it.
Yeah.
It'll never stray, you know, make you go in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Now,
Sometimes you got to trust your gut. And I 100% agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You definitely got to trust your gut. You know what I mean? That is definitely the thing, you know. And the thing is like, you trust your, like, I'm still transitioning. I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm still, it's sometimes it's very, it's still difficult. It's still very difficult for me, right?
Come on now, 25 years active duty.
Yeah. You know, but support. That's another great thing that, you know, I use because, again, we are a walking organization, right?
Yeah.
You are a walking organization. And, you know, if you have that support, because your circle is going to get small. You know, at one particular time, you a major, you get phone calls left and right, all hours of the night. You know, soldier this, soldier that, blah 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 blah.
That
blah.
part.
First sergeant,
Absolutely.
as a sergeant first
Oh
class,
my God.
sergeant major.
Yeah.
You are the thing. You are the man. You are the woman. You are the that's she is
The go get it. The go to.
No, that is it. You know what I mean? Sergeant major.
Two phones. Two phones.
SMA. Yeah, SMA of the United States Army. No, you know, nothing about that. He is it. He is the epitome of what everybody wants to be, right? But that at one time that uniform was coming off.
Yeah.
Because you guess what? There was 15 prior to you. Well, you know what I mean? There was 15 prior to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's gonna be 15 above behind you too. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be time to take this off. You know what I mean? And you're gonna go through this process. You're gonna go through this process. You ain't nothing no more, man. I'm not saying you ain't nothing because you are somebody, right? But you're not as important to an organization anymore.
In your mind.
In your mind.
I get what you're saying. So when to elaborate to the audience about what he's talking about, you're not nothing. He's just projecting how we feel as veterans getting into the civilian life. Because we don't have that. We're go. Then it's like,
yep, that's it.
Yeah,
it stops.
Well, I mean,
you
like a good example, like when I went into a new job or something like that, brigade S1 job or deputy G1, whatever job I went into, there was a lot of things that was already done for me, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Major, here's your phone. Hey, Major, here's this, here's that. I mean, a lot of things were done for me. We are spoiled in the military, leaders.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
I didn't even maintain my freaking calendar sometimes.
You ain't lying.
Right?
Hey,
you guys ready for that?
Because I had a captain, you know, G35 sergeant major in Peninsula Korea. Hey, sir, what I got going on today? What time?
Exactly.
Hey, sergeant major, we got this going on. We got that going. Okay, got you. I don't know. You know what I mean?
You
know,
I had some dynamic first sergeants that made sure that I didn't have to get up and go to the police station to make sure that all I had to do was, and I'll say his name, Treadway. Mike Treadway was his name. He's a super amazing human being. Super amazing human being. To this day, I love him so very much. He was the first first sergeant to be equal in education with me. Right? In my first command, he was my third first sergeant in my first command. So that tells you something happened to the other two, right?
Yeah.
And then
sorry, you gotta go. Bye-bye.
When Mike Treadway came, I swear to God, God opened the sky and dropped out this human being. And he said, you know what, ma'am, you've been through a lot. And I'm sorry you had to experience that with the NCO Corps, but I'm going to make sure that you don't lose another night of sleep. And he did just that. It got to the point where I was like, okay, what do I need to do? What do I need to sign? Why am I signing this? And I went with whatever he wanted to do because I trusted him that much.
Yep.
That's what it's supposed to be too.
I trusted him that much. And his wife, it was me and his wife, his kids. I mean, I just loved on them because I was so grateful for him. So Michael Treadway, if you're out there, I love you today still. And then my second first sergeant, same way, Brenda Dorador is her name. She was super amazing as well. She was the most, she had more education than me. She was a doctoral candidate at the time. And now she's a doctor. Yes, squared away. I mean, oh my God. Restored my faith in the NCO Corps in every way, shape, or possible. Those two individuals, and to this day, I absolutely love them. And Brenda just contributed to my campaign. So, if you're out there, Brenda, thank you for an amazing time with you. You know, the first sergeant commander, that's like a marriage. That's real, y'all. And those two took care of me. They took care of me, and y'all spoiled me because when I got out here into the civilian sector, they don't care like that.
No.
Don't care about me. So you're on your own. You maintain your own stuff, right?
Yeah.
But just great NCOs, and to be completely honest, if you want to see a successful officer, know for a fact that there is a bomb NCO next to them, and that's why they're successful.
So I'm gonna just say we don't even have to ask who's your mentors. Could you just answer that question right there?
Point blank. Point blank. Point blank.
Yeah.